The possible causes, there is an autoimmune connection. I don't believe endometriosis has been labeled an autoimmune condition, but from what I can see in the research, there is a lot of debate around it. And there are a lot of similarities because it's inflammation, and it's the immune system, and it is the immune system that is going crazy with inflammation. And so there is a lot of similarities with autoimmune. Genetics can play a role. The way that we look at genetics is, yes, we may have something in our family, but epigenetics, our lifestyle, our nutrition, our lives, play a much bigger role in whether that actually displays as a condition. So it can sometimes be, well, I was always meant to get this because my mother had it or my grandmother had it. However, the way that we like to look at it is, you know, if we're able to support the body, then that is not necessarily the case. In the medical model sees retrograde menstrual flow, which is where the blood, your period blood flow sort of comes back on itself, and the body isn't fully able to eliminate it. However, women who have experienced retrograde menstrual flow don't necessarily have endometriosis. So it can play a role, but it's not necessarily the cause. Endotoxins. Endotoxins are a big thing that we are going to look at more, this real connection between leaky gut. The endotoxins are the bacteria that are getting into our bloodstream and triggering an immune response, can play a real role. And the way that we're living our lives, our bodies and our lifestyles are full of endotoxins. So these are the poor food choices that we're making. These are the chemicals in our lifestyle. We've also got xenoestrogens there. These are all the toiletries, the cosmetics. This is all stressing out and creating an inflammatory response in the immune system. And so when we are working with women who have endometriosis, is one of the big things that we are looking at is cleaning up the lifestyle, cleaning up the diet. Estrogen dominance. So this is, we live a life surrounded by xenoestrogen. So we have naturally more estrogen in our environment and in our food. But estrogen dominance, there's another way that we like to explain it, which is progesterone deficiency. So it doesn't necessarily mean that someone has a lot of estrogen. It can just mean that their progesterone is a lot lower in relationship to their estrogen. So estrogen is out of balance. I think that's often a better way of describing estrogen dominance. Surgery can absolutely play a cause here. If there has been a traumatic surgery, a surgery that hasn't healed particularly well, a surgery in that area, then the immune system does go on overdrive to try and heal the trauma that can sometimes happen with surgery. Trauma, I'm going to come on to that later. I've got a different slide. We've got a clinical trial that shows there is a real connection between trauma and endometriosis. A possible nickel allergy. There is nickel in many of our different foods. I think chocolate is one of them. And that has been shown can be a potential trigger allergies, because we're looking at the immune system. And bacterial toxins, we'll talk a little bit more about the leaky gut as we go forward and talk about the digestion. This real connection between bacteria and endometriosis is huge and really, really interesting. Impaired methylation. This is how methylation is an important role that the body does. A big part of it is detoxifying. And also methylation, it over responds to estrogen and it silences progesterone. So when we are, this again is playing into this estrogen dominance, progesterone deficiency that can lead, that contributes. It's difficult to say that these things absolutely cause, but they can be linked to contributing to endometriosis. And contraceptives. The risk of being diagnosed with endometriosis was 2.4 times higher among women who took artificial contraceptives for more than 5 years.
Which seems really strange that the standard medical response for endometriosis is contraceptives.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? And especially with the estrogen dominance
Yeah.
picture, because
Yeah.
endometriosis is so driven by estrogen,
Yeah.
why would you put in more
Yeah.
estrogen?
We're going to get onto that, aren't we?
We really, really are.
Put my pin in
Contraceptives
it.
is a huge, it's a huge one. Spot it in your health history forms. Ask those questions if they haven't shared it. Have they been on the pill? Have they been on the pill for longer than 5 years? It's a real bugbear that we have, that this kind of information is not shared with women. And when women start to learn that potentially that decision to go on artificial contraceptives could have contributed or triggered endometriosis, can create a lot of anger.